Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, mostly gentlemen I see, colleagues, special guests. As Daniel has said, it really is my great pleasure and privilege to be able to introduce our special guest this morning. This is someone who's shared the stage with the likes of Eric Clapton, Joan Armatrading, Yuma Sakela, Divine Divas, Lord Richard Attenborough, Richard E. Grant, Sibongile Khumalo, Janet Suzman, and various other prestigious names. She's someone who has sung for the Queen Elizabeth of England, King Juan Carlos of Spain, Queen Beatrix of the Netherlands. She's someone who sang at the inauguration of President Nelson Mandela. She's also wrote the birthday song for President Mandela's 85th birthday, which he sang for him and guests, including Bill Clinton and Oprah Winfrey. Someone who has 10 golden discs to her name, 7 platinum discs. She's one of the top 10 people brands in South Africa, and she's been honoured for being a living legend. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it is the one and only PJ Powers. So, PJ, thank you so much for being here with us this morning. Great pleasure.
Thank you very much.
To meet you. And welcome.
Thank you. I'm not sure how I live up to that. Good evening, Amira. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to this part. I know that I'm a surprise because I do notice that I'm not on the program. So yeah, surprise, it's me, PJ. Yeah, and I must be honest. When Rukia, I did an event for UJ for the students about 6 weeks ago. And it really went really well, and we were all caught up in the heat of things. And she came up to me, she said, "You have to do the men's event." Now, of course, I was all caught up in that fluster of having done it so well. I said, "Yeah, of course, I'll do the men's event." And then about 3 days ago, I woke up and I thought, what the hell have you signed up for? Because it was, I thought to myself, sure, a whole lot of men. So the women that did gate crash this, I'm truly grateful to you. I really am. And I also suddenly thought to myself that having read what this event is about, this is just my story. And how it fits in, I believe, is that I believe with the cause of violence, the cause of all of the stuff in the world, and the lack of self-control, is basically a lack of self-respect. That's where it's all born. And I believe, the most valuable health that we have to take care of is our mental health, and we have to be very aware of the fact that our brains are probably the most powerful organ in our body that control basically everything, and our minds and what goes through our heads and what we think. And a lot of people say, "Where have you been and how come you're suddenly back?" Well, I'm here to tell you, I've had a very wonderful life, and I want to tell you how this book came about, because I woke up so that you know what kind of person I am. I woke up one morning about, 18 months ago, and I decided I wanted to write a book. So, I'm not being a great reader myself, I remember that sort of penguin sign from my school books at, Cry the Beloved Country at home, at school, So I phoned Penguin because they were the biggest publisher, and I said, "Hi, can I speak to the boss?" So they said, I said, "It's PJ Powers." They said, "Yes, sure. Of which department?" I said, No, of the company." So they said, "Okay." And they put me through I come from rock and roll and the recording industry, which is terribly brash and in your face. Now, the literary the literary world is incredibly polite and parat, And this man came on the phone and he said, "Hello." And I said, "Hi, I'm PJ Powers." He said, "Yes, I'm Frederick Diaga." I said, "I want to write a book." So he said, "Oh, about what?" I said, "About my life." He said, "Oh, okay." He said, "Can you write?" And I said, "No." He went, "Oh," I think he must have thought I was on drugs or something. And he said, "Well, maybe," I think it was buying time, "maybe you should come in and talk to us." So I said, yes, absolutely, maybe I should. So I made an arrangement, and he said, well, when have you got spare time? And I said, this afternoon. And I found myself at Penguin that afternoon, and I spoke my synopsis. I went into a boardroom, which of course I'm completely unfamiliar with, and there were a whole lot of people sitting around the boardroom, and I spoke my synopsis to these people. And when I'd finished, they said, you have a deal if you promise not to go and shop anywhere else. Now, I don't know anyone that gets a book deal like that, but I believe that that's when you know it's right, when it happens that easily. And I said, fine, I won't go shopping anywhere else. I don't know anywhere else to go. Actually, I don't know any other publishers. So I was like, oh, thank goodness for that. And he said, right, we'll get you a ghostwriter and a person to write with. And with teaming up with Marianne Tam, this was born. And because I do believe I've had a wonderful life. I had an extraordinary life filled with lots of incredible moments. I've shared a very close relationship with Madiba, which is the absolute pinnacle of my life, actually, because to share close moments with a man like that was incredible. Humorous moments, wise moments. He was around at so many of the groundbreaking and made decisions for me that was so important in my career. I've shared a sunbed with Sharon Stone, which was probably the worst moment of my life, because in America they have double sunbeds, and you know when you're a little overweight and you sort of try and lie down on a sunbed like this very quickly because you're sharing it with the hottest woman in the world. And I've sort of worked with Matt Damon and Clint Eastwood, and I was there in Shell House when Inkatha decided to march down the road, and I've had some real sort of experiences in my life, and I wanted my book to be about the country as well, not just about me, about the fact that my career was born in one of the most violent times in this country. It was 1982, you know, what was I doing? And then I've also had some extremely low, dark, self-loathing, very, very destructive moments in my life. And I think that the only way that I can possibly explain to you the depths of where I went and where I've been is to read chapter 1 of my book and to show you just how far I went in hating myself and losing complete self-respect. And so I got to take a sip of water because my mouth's very dry. Not quite the end. I have lost time, days, hours, and minutes, each collapsing and tumbling into the next, ill-defined and unaccounted for. And now it has come to this. I have been holed up alone in this townhouse in Fourways for months, wearing the same clothes for days on end. I forget to bath, I hardly eat, and when I do, all I can keep down is jelly. The windows are shut and the door is locked. No one can get in. More than anything, I want it to be dark. I want it to be night. And then I can get into my bed and just sleep. Disappear, not be here, not be. When the sun shines, I feel guilty. I know I should get up, but I can't. My only purpose, if I manage to crawl out of bed, is to find alcohol. I need everything I possess inside to pull myself together long enough to appear in public and drive to a bottle store and walk down the aisle, place 4 or 5 bottles of vodka in the carrier basket and pay for them at the checkout. Sometimes I don't have enough money. I lie. I tell the cashier I have left my card in my purse at home. She knows me. She knows who I am, so she trusts me and gives me the vodka, and I say I'll be back later to pay. I won't. I have lied to many people in the past 4 years, people I love, people who love me. I have lied to myself. On the days that I can't dress myself or go out, I summon the security guards at the complex. I peer around the door, hand them crumpled banknotes and ask them please to go and buy my vodka. They oblige. They too know who I am. I don't care what they think anymore. Back in my tomb, I reach for a bottle. my hands burrowing through the covers or patting the floor around my bed for the fullest one. I grab hold of its comforting, familiar neck. I no longer bother using a glass. I haven't drunk in one for years. I wrap my lips around its familiar cold ridges of its mouth and drain the transparent liquid. It is the only intimacy I now know. My mouth-to-mouth oblivion. And I wait for the now familiar and all-embracing warmth that will soon radiate from the center of my being and course through every part of my body, like love being poured into me, filling me up. After the third swig, it doesn't feel so bad anymore. The trembling has calmed. I pick up the remote, turn on the TV, and watch the colors move and swim across the screen. I pass out. Oblivion. Sweet, dreamless oblivion. There in the world, out there, I am loud, but all I want to do is die. For the past 3 years, I have been more passed out than awake. The only person who sees me and tries to help me is my older sister, Priscilla. I am so fragile and broken and anesthetized that sometimes I have to slide down the stairs on my backside. Desperate, she goes to AA and asks what she can do to help me, but I don't care. And then it happened. Uncontrollable shaking wakes me from this stupor. It is dark outside, so I assume it is still night, or at least early morning, and the only thing I want to do is to get some alcohol, because I need it now. I patch around the bed and pick up a few empty bottles. I lift them one by one to my lips, trying to drain out every last drop. Nothing. I am in pain. I need alcohol. I need alcohol. I'm sweating and I start to retch. I know this feeling. Alcohol withdrawal. The nausea is overwhelming. I make it to the bathroom and begin to heave. I look up onto the shelf and there is a bottle of Flex hairspray, my salvation. I reach for it. I have learned from other alcoholics and addicts that I have been met in rehab, where to find traces of alcohol where the real stuff has run out. Mouthwash, Angostura bitters, many other places. I twist off the spray pump and the bottle is about 3/4 full. I suck out every last drop, stick out my tongue and shake it to make sure. It burns my throat, my stomach, but I know that I must just hold on. The shakes will subside. The taste in my mouth is unbearable. Shit, now I've got to make it downstairs to try and eat some jelly because I have to get rid of this chemical tang. I do. I shovel the jelly into my mouth, shuffle back to the bedroom and collapse and tip over into safe unconsciousness. At 8 a.m., severe pain wakes me, and I have never felt anything like this before. I don't recognize this feeling and I can hardly walk. I know that something bad is happening and I need to get to Priscilla for help. Surprisingly, I walk into the casualty unit because she suggests that she takes me to hospital. It takes every ounce of willpower and energy I have. Priscilla and I sit silently next to each other while someone processes the paperwork. I don't feel drunk. I feel sick, very sick. I'm led to a ward, to a bed. I lie down, ill at ease, restless. I'm left alone. I must get up. I need to go to the loo. I drop my legs over the side of the bed and my body arches backwards like a gymnast and I collapse on the floor. I have forgotten how to get up. My head feels like it is going to snap off and I call for help. I feel the nurses and the doctors securing my head through 2 plastic bricks and the scene slows down. I call for Priscilla and she is right there beside me. I hear Priscilla say to the doctor, "Is she going to be okay?" And the doctor says, "We're really not sure, but we're doing everything we can." And it is then that I realize that I do not want to die, not now. I have to find my way home. It has all been so worth it. It has all been so good. I have sung for Nelson Mandela. I have done a Royal Command performance for the Queen of England. I have traveled the world. I have shared the stage with international music icons. I have done what I wanted to do. I have been a singer. I have lived my dream. How the hell did I get here? So that's the first chapter. It's all uphill from there. So you can relax. But what I'm amazed at is how, by the way, I celebrate, I go into my 7th year of sobriety. In 2 months' time, you can clap now. You know, I was born Penelope Jane Dunlop, okay? And, but oh no, what I wanted to say was, it was only in hindsight do I realize now that what happened was, I think you mentioned, is it, what is the surname, Professor? Barwala. Sounds so exotic, Barwala. And Professor Barwala. But you mentioned about spiritual well-being. And, you know, it was then that I realized that what I'd had was a spiritual awakening. I didn't realize then, I knew nothing. I was spiritually completely bankrupt. But I realized then that is what has happened. That is what had happened. And I wrote this song that I want to sing for you right now, which just makes sense. And this is for all of us. It's not just for me, because I've got my stuff, and if you think you haven't got your stuff, you're just dafter than the person sitting next to you. So here we go with a song that I wrote at that time. Let's go. born Penelope Jane Dunlop. Now, I bet that sounds like something directly out of Downton Abbey. So you can know why I changed my name when I was very young. But my mum had 3 kids in 3 years. Yeah, she had 2 boys and a girl. And then 6.5 years later, moi arrived. And my mother then tried to tell me that I wasn't a mistake, which was really stupid. I mean, nobody plans a 4th child when you've had 2 boys and a girl. And she told me so often that then I really knew. You know, she said, you weren't a mistake, you know, you weren't a mistake, you weren't a mistake. Oh, come on, Mom, get over it. But what did happen to me from the time I was born was I felt like an outsider because there was a club. You know, it was the 2 boys and they had their little club. And I was like this fat person that used to like run after them, you know, and I didn't fit in. So what happened was I had to develop another person. I wasn't that sort of little ingenue that was going to make it. I was always the tallest. I'm 6 foot. I was never the little girly girl. And I had to try. I thought to myself, I desperately want to go to the parties. I want to be invited. I want to be part of the in crowd. I want to be part of all of that. So I'm actually quite, in hindsight, very excited and pleased that I wasn't that person because I didn't automatically get invited. I had to develop another part of my personality. So I had to work really hard. So I developed a big personality. I was really funny. I was really, it got to the point where I was on the guest list first because people wanted to have me at the parties. I had to work really hard as opposed to just go on my looks because there weren't any. And so that was actually what happened, and I'm very pleased that happened because I had to fight my way, and that is what has held me in good stead throughout my life. And I did pass matric, but to this day I'm still confused as to how. No, seriously, I am, and I sit here with a whole lot of professors and doctors. I mean, I'm completely intimidated. I really am. But what I do believe was my core reason that I have managed to sustain this industry, which is a horrible, dirty industry, the music industry and show business. Jerry will bear me out. It really is. You've got to look over your shoulder permanently. Is this intrinsic, deep down inside, with all the complexes and with all of that, that I can. There's somewhere someone instilled that I can and I will. And I really don't know. I mean, I joined an all-girl band in Durban, much to my father and my mother and father's absolute dismay. I went into the music industry. They refused to help me, even though that they could. I came up to Johannesburg. The all-girl band was fired from everywhere. They went back to Durban. And I just thought I had bucket loads of determination and nothing else, no money. And I stayed on, and that's what I had. I can and I will. I can and I will. And I got myself a manager, and then I started writing songs, which was my collateral. And then on the 31st of May, I'm having to really condense this. I mean, I did the bars and all of that, and suddenly our country was very divided, as you know. In 1982, you know, Radio Zulu played isiZulu, Xhosa played isiXhosa, and you know, Tswana played Tswana, and English played English, and Afrikaans played Afrikaans. And somehow You're So Good to Me found its way onto the Radio Zulu charts with, I don't know whether any of you remember Kansas City, and VVO. Okay, do you remember? Those good old days. Huh? And Kansas fell in love with You're So Good to Me, and he thought to himself, I mean, all the radio stations were owned by the government at that point. He thought, nah, I'm not listening to this lot. I'm playing You're So Good to Me. It was a vernacular station. And before I knew where I was invited to play in this concert in Soweto on 1982, 31st of May. This is not a time where a white woman in 1982 goes running into Soweto with her all-white band with stonewashed jeans and mullets, you know? I mean, really, we were a rock band. And we arrived in Soweto, and this big policeman came up and said, "You're not allowed to go in there." And I said, "In where?" "In there, you're not allowed." I said, this is 18 kilometers. It was the days of permits to go into the town. I mean, it was, were we in a state of emergency in 82? No, came later. And it was that day that I was given the name Tandega, which is in my passport. And, yeah. And it was an amazing day because I walked onto the stage and I did You're So Good to Me, and I didn't have to sing one word of that song that day. It was that day that my life changed. It was that day that I was embraced by the people of this country for some unknown reason. I was okay. I do not know why to this day. All I do is say thank you every day. My book is dedicated to the people of Soweto because that's where my first soft landing was. It was in Soweto, and I was embraced and taken in, and I haven't ever been kicked out of the fold yet. And I really, Nyaboga kakhulu, I'm so grateful for that. I really am, so thank you. And on that note, I'm going to sing something that none of you will know, but I've just decided to do it anyway. Go, Johnny.
I've been playing in the rain.
grateful for that song. Because it really has, besides the money, it really has been woven into the tapestry of our country, and I really am. You know, I'm going to have to, because Ruqayya is incredibly strict, and I'm scared of her actually. Very scared of her. I don't know where she's, but she's like, hey, she's bossy, have you noticed? So, she's strict about the thank you. I feel like I've really rushed this, but it's because I think there are some really, really interesting people that it's all got to do with me. See, I want to watch before I want to leave. But my career this is about the thanks. And the thanks to you and to my country. I always get choked up because you have given me and let me live my dream. And there are not a lot of people that can end there, well, that I'm ending my life, but that can go into their third act, which is what I'm in, knowing that I have done what I set out and I'm doing what I set out to do. And I couldn't have done that, guys, without you. It's impossible. You have given me so much to be proud about. You have given me, you know, a second chance. You can see where I went. And that's the thing that the message for that is, it really doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where you've been. What matters is today and where you're going. It doesn't matter what you've done, because it's done. And what matters is now. And don't let anybody tell you what your past, what you were like. You know, remember when you used to. I mean, I get called, you know, people say, you know, really, you should talk. You're an alcoholic. And I say, well, you know, whatever knocks you out. I'm a recovering alcoholic. That's what I'm proud of. You know, don't let your past interfere with your future. Don't let it, really don't. Treasure the good part of it, but let it go. And that's what I've tried to do. And most of all, forgive yourself for anything that you apologize, make amends, and move on. And forgive yourself for any things that you believe that you have done wrong and that you have messed up, or I could use other words, but I don't know any other words, so I'm going to use the word messed up. You know, really, that's the most important thing is, and I don't use those trite internet sayings that, you know, it's not the falling, it's the getting up that counts. I don't like all that nonsense, but I really mean it. Just forgive yourselves and move on. And that is what my story is about. It's about getting back your self-respect. And if you yesterday did something that, you know, was icky, that was yesterday, just don't do it again, because then it's no point. But yeah, it's about getting back on track, and it's about the country, what you have given me. And I know that in my doggy bag, which is the last chapter of my book, I write what I would have told my 17-year-old self. And that is, where are we all going in such a hurry? Why are we getting frustrated with the taxis? I got over there a long time ago. You know what I did? I just put like an emergency, like a cross. I pictured that there was a cross on it. If it was an ambulance, you'd pull over. Everybody goes to London and goes, God, what an amazing transport system they've got. You put your hand out and a taxi, a black cab stops. Happens here, and you want to ram the guy, you're gesticulating, you want to kill him, you want to go over. No. It's an efficient transport system. I know the down part. Look at the upside of it. And just chill, and we're not going anywhere in a hurry. And that's the thing I would have told my 17-year-old self, is not to go through life like a bullet, like I have. It was all about achieving. It was all about the next gold discs. You know, when I see Professor Warwala talk about the gold discs and the platinum discs and the accolades that I have. On Friday, I get honored alongside Thabo Mbeki, which I'm incredibly proud of. Those are fantastic accolades. But the truth is, now I'm cherishing them, but it was like, okay, that's that. Don't, because trust me, I sound like an old woman. You wake up and you go, what was that, you know? So take and pat yourself on your back. Take time to cherish your achievements, not in a boastful way, but to go, that was damn good of me. I can do that, because that'll make you want to do more. In 1995, my career was in a really dark place. And Nelson Mandela, the World Cup Rugby was awarded to us. And Tata has always been, he wrote to me from prison. We had a relationship prior to him being released. And when he was released, we got together. And when the World Cup Rugby came up, he insisted that it was me, together with Ladies of Black Mambazo, that sing the 1995 World Cup song, which reinvented my career and put me back where I really wanted to be. This is what I mean by him being there, those pivotal moments. Now, next week, next Saturday, talk about the power of collective prayer. Do we need prayers for Saturday, for Australia, for New Zealand? We need lots of prayers. Get on your knees from tonight. Do you understand? Because we only scraped it against Wales. We should have lost that match so that we could go up against New Zealand. No, we've got to win, we've got to win. I said, no, we've got to lose. But anyway, I do really wish the Springboks luck. I want to say to all of you, I'm so intimidated because Dr. Eve is sitting right opposite me, and I listen to her and I go, oh God, I never want to meet that woman. She's like such an adult. She's like such an adult. She is. And, but to all of you guys, I know you're having some iffy problems. If there's anybody here from SRC, thank you for coming. If they're not, well then you lost out. And for the staff at UJ, to Ruqayya, thank you very much for inviting me again. I love doing these events. To all the posh professors and doctors, you work really hard, eh? Shot. I really do applaud you, you know. I mean, when my father said university, I went, not a chance, John. I'm not opening another book. But yeah, I am very proud to be here, and I thank you for what you've given me, and I thank you for what you've allowed me to live as South Africans. And right now, yeah, I got to think about the Springboks on Saturday. Okay, thank you very much, and I'm going to enjoy listening to these learned people. All right, thank you. There's a dream I feel so rare, so real. All the world in union, the world is one. Gathering
The University of Johannesburg. Rethink, reinvent.